insane plays on gold right now. I'm just gonna go over it real quick. We got that structure. I believe this is the weekly structure. I don't know why it's not showing. Let's check the daily real quick. But super clean, right? We got some structure, some higher highs and higher lows. Prices, doing its thing. Boom, boom, higher high, higher high here, higher low, and then of course, higher high, higher low, and we did have some accumulation down there. The one that we all know and love. We all know and love this. It's the same setup over and over. All right, now we're on the 4 hour. We did break some structure to the downside. Or we had this massive 4 hour candle break structure 3 times or four, right? We broke a bunch of these lows to the downside, but we did find ourselves inside of this imbalance, right? So once we get to the imbalance, it's very possible that it could be respected. I know we all want to catch the retest as well. That's always going to be good. But keep in mind, a retest means that the imbalance has been filled. Again, go back to the daily. If price did come back and retest, these levels, that means that we would fill the imbalance. And I'm not saying that the imbalance has to be filled every time. And I'm not saying that it doesn't have to be filled every time. Once price is in there, I'm looking around to see what's going on. And on the 1 hour, you can see some structure, but it was really on the 15-minute. Once we got into the imbalance, right? These are those same lows that were broken. Once we got into the imbalance, which is in between, this level here, 3289 and 3262 down there, then I started to watch price action, and we had the 15-minute break of structure to the upside. Right after massive sells, price is given its lower lows and lower highs, just consistently even gapped down here, right? Tried to make a comeback, still got cooked, right? Decided to come even lower, making more lower lows and lower highs until finally we broke some structure to the upside, right? A solid, piece of information. And of course, there's some other breaks of structure to the upside as well. But, we didn't break the swing highs and previous lower highs. But we just did here. Right? We just broke a previous lower high. So that's a good sign. We didn't just break some internal structure and call it a day. We actually broke above a swing high, which is solid. Right? We need to break above more of these and eventually break in above that. So we'll see what happens here. This trade was called out in the chat as well not too long ago. Again, that's always going to be what I look for once price comes into a key zone that we're paying attention to, like an imbalance or a structure that we are looking to retest. Once we get near or around those areas, I'm looking for the accumulation if I'm doing buys. Beautiful break, retested a few times, made some moves, couldn't quite break other highs on the way up, right? Sold off some more, still respected that, filled even more imbalance, retested some structure as well, more confirmations. You can even use this structure, right? More confirmations. Even here, right? We broke structure here, full body, next candle retested. You can use essentially all these highs, right? Boom. Easy plays. I don't think this one gave a retest. Maybe it did, but yeah, you get the picture. And now, since we broke above here, we're going to be looking in this area for more of the same thing. More of the same thing. I believe this is right now it's a 1 hour imbalance, maybe at 30 minutes, a little bit better. Boom, right? A 30-minute imbalance right over some structure that may or may not be retested. But definitely looking at buys there. If it wants to come lower, there's other areas there. There's more here, right? And if it wants to go lower and clap all this, we can sweep these lows and, catch the trade. But so far it's looking good. It's looking good. You know, I want to see some more action. I want to see more action. Breaking above there, but and let me check Nas real quick. Just see what's popping. I would prefer to buy down here, so I'm not gonna really change these levels that I'm looking at. You know, we still have a gap here. We'll see though. You know, price, we did actually break some structure right there, so that's pretty valid. You know, we may respect that, but again, we do have this gap, so I'll be looking in this area for some accumulation. On the daily though, right, we haven't really broken any previous, you know, lower highs up in here, so check the line chart as well, right? No real structure being broken like that, so unless we're looking down here, which where those buy limits are, but we still need to, you know, make some significant progress right in there. I do see here we broke some structure on the daily time frame. This is why I was really looking at this area anyway. We broke structure here, full body candle, retested a few times, came a little bit deeper, even swept some of these lows, some of this liquidity here. Boom. Going down to the 4-hour, you know, that's that same area. We actually did capitalize on these buys here, you know, break, beautiful retest, tapped into this imbalance. Didn't quite make new highs though, so very suspicious activity. Worked our way even lower, filled more of the imbalance, right? Perfectly fine. Eventually we did break some structure to the upside right in here, boom, and worked our way up like a staircase, and then eventually gapped up, and now we're working our way back down. Working my way. So we'll see what they want to do. Got some distribution there. Let it play out. Let it play out. Let me see. I believe, what time frame do we break structure? The 1 hour. Right, the first instance right there. Boom. You had like a nice imbalance. Solid. You know, maybe you want to use this one instead. You know, boom, broke beneath these lows. Retested a few times. Boom, you know, could have went here on the 30-minute. You know, just keep going down, refining. You see more and more of the same. Yeah, so definitely like, you know, price to continue lower. Some of these buy zones. All right, we did break structure here, but this gap is suspicious. A little suspicious. Let me pull out the Fibonacci real quick. What's going on? Interesting. Discounts are 50% below. So I'm gonna stick to these areas for now, unless I see the setup. See some accumulation. You know, see that pop up somewhere. You know, anywhere. Boom, I'm in there. I'm in there like swimwear. But let's get it. See you guys tomorrow on the New York session.